Oh, I'd love to be an Oscar Meyer wiener. That is what I truly like to be.
The secret is they steamed them in beer. There ain't a better hot dog in America.
They literally made me stop eating foods that were shaped like dicks. No hot dogs, no popsicles. You know how many foods are shaped like dicks? The best kinds.
This thing rules. The thing rules.
Oh, hey, what's up? I'm Brian Altano.
And I'm Max Scoville.
This is a show where we discuss something we love,
Unpack why we love it,
explain where it came from,
try to remember our first impressions of it,
share our weird stories about it,
maybe learn something new about it along the way.
but first and foremost, we're here to celebrate the fact that this thing rules.
Hot dog.
Hot dog, hot diggity dog.
So what's so good about these funny little penis-shaped sandwiches?
Well, I was wondering how quickly we would get into that, and it's like 4 seconds. It was like I took my kid to see that movie Elio, and no spoilers, but like in the I think the first 7 seconds they explained that his parents are dead, and I was like, that's a speed run for a dead parent in a Disney movie. Like that.
I feel like it should be a given in Disney movies at this point.
Yeah.
But when you said you weren't sure how quickly we were going to get to that, did you mean the fact that hot dogs are shaped like penises, or that
Yes.
there's a constant debate that they're sandwiches or not?
No. I genuinely don't give a shit about that. I couldn't possibly be less interested in that is a hot dog a sandwich debate.
Oh, good. I don't want to talk about that.
No, I
either.
don't want to do that
Let's
at all.
talk about how much they look like little penises.
No, I was like, that's going to come up for sure. The sort of symbolicness of them, but I didn't think it would happen in the first 4 seconds. Okay, so hot dogs are awesome because well, actually, let's get the bad news out of the way. Hot dogs are disgusting.
Oh, they're horrible. They're
Yeah.
awful.
You could probably, there are, I'm sure now there's like a brand at Whole Foods that it's called like Nature's Gift or whatever, right? And it's like, not your grandmother's hot dog. Like these are made with love, and they're probably 100 times better for you, and they taste worse, right? Like, let's be honest. To make a hot dog, you have to take a whole bunch of stuff that you don't really want to know about or ask questions about, and you put it through basically like a food wood chipper, and it turns it into this like pink paste that they shove in a tube that then you can cook in any number of ways. And that's when it gets fun, right? I think that like we all agree what a hot dog is, right? Maybe we don't agree whether it's a sandwich or not. Some people think it's a taco. I don't really give a shit.
No, unlike regular dogs, if you say hot dog, I think people immediately know what you're talking about. It's not
Yes.
It's not a sausage, it's not a bratwurst. A corn dog is a hot dog on the inside, but you say hot dog, like there's a hot dog emoji. There's no confusion about that. You know, you even say pizza, and it's like people are like, well, what's on the top of the pizza? Like there's room for interpretation. You say, burger, it's like what? It's kind of the same deal. But a hot dog is it's a known shape,
Yes.
But if you say like regular dog, people are like, what, like a golden retriever, like Pomeranian, like bull mastiff, like that's a wide range. We're getting off the beaten path a little bit. Hot dogs, though, you can put a lot of stuff on them.
You can put a lot of stuff on them, and I think that's what gets interesting about them, right? They are basically a blank canvas. If a blank canvas was made of ears and penises,
They can even be a pigs in a blank canvas.
Yes, they can be a pigs in a blank canvas. That is one type of hot dog, which is, I guess, cousin of the bagel dog, which sounds like a Harry Potter movie. There's also there's cheese dog. There's chili dogs, there's corn dogs, there's all these different, and like that's where things get a little weird for me. Like, is a corn dog a hot dog? I'm more interested in that debate because it's on a stick, it doesn't involve a bun, different story, right? But I think the thing is that like what's fascinating about hot dogs, like all good food that's successful around the world, is that it has bizarre and occasionally disgusting and most times delicious regional variants, right? The one that I was sort of born and raised on was the kind of New York style hot dog, right? That like every time I was in New York City and all these things, the hot dogs carts made their way into Jersey all the time too. You would see these guys, they were ubiquitous. They were on every street corner, and they would have this big metal cart with a huge umbrella over it with like the Soubrette logo on it or whatever. Oscar Meyer, one of those things. And they would sell these hot dogs that were basically in what we called, I don't know if it's water, right? But we called it dirty water because like the legend was the guys never changed the water, and the hot dogs were basically cooked and then kept like hot in this water that wasn't necessarily boiling, but just
it's
kind of steamy.
The titular hot dog flavored water from that Limp Bizkit album.
Yeah,
with the
exactly.
chocolate starfish.
Yeah, it's a hot dog water, which some people think white people smell like, which is a very
I think that's
funny
fair.
thing.
I think that's extremely funny.
Yeah, I think
like
we've
that.
done enough collectively.
Honestly,
bad
like
to,
if
that
someone
it's
told
okay.
me that I smell like hot dog water, I would not really have a good defense there because I eat a lot of hot dogs.
You do. I think we both eat a lot of hot dogs. You and I, we've talked about this before, but we have a thing for a busy day where we don't get a lunch break, like an actual lunch break, called it's a hot dog over the sink kind of day.
Yeah.
Which means you're just in back-to-back meetings and shoots, and you've got all this stuff going on, and you're like, I have just enough time to cook a hot dog quickly. And that's also where things get interesting because there are 100 different ways to cook hot dogs. But yeah, in New York, the one I was used to was the store, like the hot dog cart, right? The street hot dogs. But then in New Jersey, there was a place that I went to, which I really, really love. I have their T-shirt, and they printed it like wrong, so it's just like off. It's one of those shirts you're always adjusting, and you're like, that they didn't center the logo here. But it's called Rutt's Hut, and it's just this. It's like the only like sort of like that like white gray champion shirt I have. It's a cheap shirt. It's the only color I have of that shirt, and it says Rutt's Hut, home of the Ripper, and it has a beer and a hot dog on it. And the Ripper is their way of cooking a hot dog by boiling it until it explodes, which I fucking love. I just love, and it's dirt cheap. It's oily. You're not tricking yourself into thinking this is healthy. They've got a full bar there. You can get like 15 types of food for like $10. It's insane. I actually I walked into my boss's office a couple weeks ago, and he was watching some travel video with that Man Eats Food or Man Eats the World guy, Man vs. Food. That guy, Adam Richman, I think. And they were doing this thing about like the best hot dogs in the country. And I just, without even like looking at the TV, I'm like, what are you watching? He's like, oh, it's this thing about the best hot dogs in the country. And I'm like, did they go to Rutt's Hut? And I turned my head, and they're like, we're here at Rutt's Hut in Clifton, New Jersey. And I was like, fuck yeah, nailed it. It's a really special place. I really want to take you there one day. But to me, like, here's the thing. I'm kind of a fucking snob about. No, I'm an absolute fucking snob about pizza. Like, absolutely. Like, if I go somewhere and it's like, obviously, we had my kid's birthday party at a trampoline park recently. You were there. You get what you get at a birthday party, right? Sometimes it's just like, well, here's birthday party pizza. But when I go out for pizza or when I make pizza, I want to make sure it's good. I follow specific, sort of rules and the way I construct it. There's a bunch of like nasty toppings I see all over the place that I'm not interested in, right? Hot dogs generally don't give a fuck, like, honestly. So the reason I say that is because one of the most popular types of hot dog in America is the Chicago hot dog, right? And it's got like a whole pickle spear. It's got green relish, whole tomatoes, which is like it's a lot of like very what should be crunchy and fresh ingredients on it, which is a little odd because I'm used to things like caramelized onions and like pickled jalapenos and hot sauce and a lot of wet ingredients, right? But they do mustard. You can do hot sauce. They are staunchly against ketchup on a hot dog.
They will kill you.
They will kill you.
They will come. They will beat you.
Like, they have
Special little
signs in hot
sticks,
dog places there, and we've both been to Chicago, where it'll just say like, don't you dare fucking ask for ketchup. And like, if you sneak your own in, it's like this whole, it's just like this bad, people just don't do it, right?
Most good hot dog places there, they pat you down at the door, if you got ketchup on you.
Yeah,
They make ketchup come out of your nose by punching you in the face.
Had like 6 or 7 bottles of Heinz just spill out of me, like, I was like a little kid stealing candy. No, so that's a regional choice, I guess. I'm not against all that. I think that like the idea of having all of that stuff on a hot dog is good, but I think then getting precious, being like, no, we won't do ketchup, and it's like, but you do fucking raw whole tomato slices. Yeah, but not not when you turn it into ketchup.
So I was thinking about this. I think what made it click for me a little bit is watching The Bear, and the whole thing is their restaurants like the beef, and like there's a whole. I mean, you got like so many like Polish immigrants in the Chicago area, and with like kielbasa, like a history of like good meat. Like it's a very meat centric city and area. And again, I'm saying this as somebody who's been to Chicago like once. I'm talking out my ass here. I'm basing it on a fucking FX show, but I think there's a certain degree of like ketchup is always seen as like it's you don't put ketchup on a steak.
Yeah.
And I think if you're taking a certain amount of pride in the quality of your hot dogs, putting ketchup on there is also, it's taking them down a notch. And it's like, again, hot dogs, they're not really high-end meat, they're kind of, I think it depends on where you go. But if you're getting a good quality hot dog from a good, meat proprietor, like someplace that actually gives a shit about what they're putting in there, again, I don't know what those places are. Maybe it's just some kind of a courtesy thing where if you put ketchup on any kind of meat, it's an insult to the person preparing the meat. I don't know exactly. But in the same way that you wouldn't put ketchup on a steak, maybe it's sort of like, oh, it's a fuck you to the hot dog. Put a real tomato on there. Treat it like a,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I get that. I understand giving a shit about stuff like that, right? Like I said, I'm like that about pizza. I'm like that about coffee. There's things that I'm just like, I think it's good to care about stuff, right? Like I think, like if you only watched like free shitty movies, or you only ate just garbage food all the time, or listened to just like music CDs that you found at the dollar store that were all scratched up, that were AI generated or whatever, then but it's good to be precious about some shit. But when one of those things is a tube full of ears and penises, that's where you lose me a little bit. But
assholes and elbows. Yeah, no, it's.
But I respect it. I respect it, right?
Yeah, but hot dogs are interesting because like we've talked about this a bit. I forget which food quality food we're talking about, but like there's sort of a margin of how high it can go. Like there's a the low point and the high point, and there's some foods where if you try to make them too fancy, you screw them up. Yeah. And, there's some foods where if it's not above a certain quality, it's unfuckwithable. Whereas with hot dogs, like they are made of floor meat. Like there's a whole Upton Sinclair book about how they're fucking food that fell on the floor, and they're the jungle. Like they are a base level ground food. Like you could buy them from little carts on the street, not even cars, like little carts, just people out there frying them on like, gas stoves or whatever. Like there is the level of pretension starts at the floor, However, you really can't make them that fancy before they start being something else. Yeah. Right? Like after a certain point, it's just, I mean, there is no like, I mean, maybe there's that Whole Foods like tofu shit where it just stops being a hot dog at all. But like, I feel like maybe, I mean, what it's a sausage? Like at a certain, you can't make a hot dog fancier without it stopping being a hot dog.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think at a certain point, it's like it's got to be a tube inside of a bun, right? And yeah, I mean, like I've been in situations. I went to this place. There's a brewery in San Rafael, and they do a great like the German beer festival thing every year, right? They do their own sort of interpretation on that, and they have this, Stein holding contest and all that. And on their menu, it's one of those things you scan a QR code and you pull up this thing. And I had to, there was like a hot dog, right? Like a German, and like, that's with the German stuff, that's when you get into like, why is the hot dog white? Stuff like that. Because it's a sausage, and maybe that's a whole different conversation. Like, when is a hot dog not a hot dog? When is a sausage a hot dog? All squares are rectangles. All rectangles aren't squares, or whatever the fuck it is. And so they had this thing on the menu where it was just like, it was Impossible dog, which for those that don't know is the, Impossible meat. They make their own sort of interpretations on ground beef and stuff like that. And with ground beef, they kind of nailed it. Like they pretty much. And I'm not vegan or vegetarian. It'd be rude of me to do a whole thing about hot dogs if I was. But I had to specify, this is what I want. I don't want that thing. And I think I clicked the wrong button. And the lady comes out with this this Beyond Meat like vegan sausage dog thing, and she goes, "Here's this thing," and just, which is such a funny without I think she had known that I wasn't vegan because like this was the second thing I ordered, right? And so it was just, I was like, oh, that's not what I meant to hit the, oh fuck, all right. And I ate it, and it was horrendous, right? It happened. So yes, it's possible to have bad hot dogs, But one of the things I've tried doing recently when I travel, which I tend to do a lot, is not just like look for the local pizza, but also try local hot dogs. And I don't know if I texted you this, but I went to PAX West last year, and that's in Seattle, in Washington. And Seattle has a very specific hot dog that I had to try, and I don't know if you've had it before, but it has cream cheese, cabbage, sriracha, and raw jalapenos.
What?
So not pickled, not cooked. Yeah, and it's not great. Like I'm not really into like. Do you ever get a bagel and you toast it and you put cream cheese on it and the cream cheese gets kind of melty and it's just like, this is not a good mouthfeel. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
it's the hot dog just slide out basically.
Yeah, it's a fucking mess. It's a
man.
mess. And it's also just a weird, it's I love all those things, but it's just a weird combination. Like sriracha and cream cheese and cabbage and jalapenos is like, I love all those things individually, but together I was just like, why here? Like,
That's bizarre.
Why are you guys here? Why are you guys hanging out on a hot dog?
I had a really good hot dog in Seattle one time that was at some like pop-up spot that did, I think it was like Korean inspired, or it had maybe kimchi and like gochujang and stuff on it, and it was very good. And it was one of those spots where like it's a regular hot dog, it's just what you're putting on it. Like it's sort of the ice cream sundae approach. I have an iconic hot dog styles map in front of me, which I feel like I've looked at one of these before, but it was a different one, I think. But like, yeah, the Seattle dog, at the resolution that this image is, I don't know what the fuck is going on there. It looks like somebody put garbage on a hot dog. Like it looks
and like I've seen people defend it, and it's just kind of like, yeah, you don't need to do that. Like I think it's where is it? There's a place that does. This is so funny because there's a place that does this thing called Altoona Pizza. And it's Altoona. It's like a couple letters off from my last name, and they just use fucking American cheese on it. It's like, okay, I love pizza, and this sounds like it would be something I would love, and it's that looks like some shit you would give a kid at a school that was about to go out of business.
That's a silly time. That's a stupid time.
Back to New York, though, my favorite thing to do there isn't really the when I go there, I don't really get the street dogs anymore. I go to Gray's Papaya. Gray's Papaya is a place I've been going to my whole life. I think they were on I know they were on Sex and the City, a show I haven't really watched, but I know that they had signage outside forever being like, as seen on Sex and the City. Last time I went there a couple months ago, they had this thing forever called a recession special. And, you know, I've been going to New York my whole life. I lived there for several years, the late 90s, early 2000s. Back then, I want to say it was like $3 for 2 hot dogs and what they call a tropical drink, which is just like, it's just sugar and like coconut milk and, you know, papaya or pineapple, whatever it is, right? But the hot dogs are fucking awesome. I don't think there's anything specifically special about them, but they're just classically well cooked hot dogs, and they don't really care what you put on them. I always put, I put pickles, jalapenos, sauerkraut, mustard, ketchup, and hot sauce. And that's it. That's it for me. It's 2 of those and a tropical drink. And when I was there a couple months ago, it was $7.50. So the recession, we've had I think we've had 3 recessions since we've started this show. So it happens. But there's always a need for a cheap lunch.
Yeah, that place is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the rare things that has placement in Sex and the City, but also a William Gibson book. Like there's a whole thing about that in I first heard about it in Spook Country, which is one of his like sort of not cyberpunk, but like post 9/11 like surveillance state kind of novels. And there's a whole awesome thing about like talking about the recession special. And again, talking about a recession special in post 9/11 New York, and it's a hot dog place. I'm like, this sounds like some William Gibson shit. And then it's like, oh no, that's a real place. Okay, sure, why not? Great. I'm looking at this hot dog map. New York dog. There's that. There's a lot in this sort of general Eastern Seaboard area. There's the Chicago style dogs. There's a slaw dog. There's a Norfolk dog. There's a scrambled dog, Carolina style. There's a half smoke Italian hot dog, New York system, not to be confused with New York dog. There's the Fenway Frank from Boston, and then up in Maine they got the Red Snapper, which is like a red hot dog with nothing on it, and it's frightening looking.
Oh, is that one of those like hot hot franks or whatever they're called.
I don't
Frank's
know, but I
Red
want
Hots.
to check it out. It looks terrible, but I want to eat it.
So a weird thing that I would have a lot growing up that wasn't like, no one called it a hot dog, but they would have this at like all the Italian street fairs, and my family would cook it. I cook this all the time now. It's like one of my favorite things to make is sausage, peppers, and onions.
Oh yeah.
Right? And doing that on a hot dog bun is fantastic. And the trick is you cook the sausage and peppers and onions all together in the same pan, and you add a little bit of sugar to it, which I don't really cook with a lot of sugar, but that's one of the ones where like if I make that, you throw that in there, and like fresh herbs and stuff like that.
You
And
ever do
it's
some
awesome.
wine?
What's up?
You ever do some white wine? And
Yeah,
some
yeah,
sugar?
yeah. That's awesome. I mean, so that's what's great about like hot dogs is like I was saying before, different ways of cooking them, like boiling them in beer is a thing I've done before. And I don't know if you ever, and like, don't, I guess you could get like a big stinky IPA, but you're better off with just like when somebody's at your house and they're like, oh, I'll bring some beer. And they bring some, just fucking bottom shelf domestic bullshit, whatever. No, beggars can't be choosers, or thanks for the gift. But that's the stuff you can cook with, right? That's also the kind of stuff that you like, shove in a chicken's ass and you do a beer can chicken, or just shove in a chicken's ass and walk
Yeah, just
away.
be a weird sicko. That's fine.
Just be fucked up, I guess.
We love hot dogs. We love putting the beer in the chicken. We love cruel men to animals, doing awful things to those farm animals out there.
Be the guy on your first day in jail. Have the weirdest story.
What's your go-to hot dog recipe? I know that's a stupid thing to say because it's a hot dog, but what's your like routine?
So I realized over time that I'm not really a fan of grilling hot dogs. I love grilling food. I use my grill as often as possible, but it's rare that I'm like a hot dog benefits from a grill. That's the way I feel personally.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'll do it because I'm out there already, and it's foolproof, right? I'm doing chicken thighs and burgers and all this other shit. So I'll throw a couple of hot dogs on the grill, but for the most part, I'm kind of like, like if I'm going to have a hot dog over the sink kind of day, or even just like hey, I have time to appreciate this, I will either cook them in a pan or I will air fry them. Air fryer to me is just like, it's again, foolproof. You just throw it in there until they start to pop a little bit. And I've gotten like those weird chicken dogs recently because I'm like, oh, this is, got to be slightly healthier.
Or
and
like those ones from the end of Bloodborne?
Yeah, basically.
Those Murgo's Loft dogs.
Those ones, the ones that are like, they're more orange than they are like maroon.
I don't think I've had those. I guess I've had turkey dogs that are kind of like that.
Yeah, same,
Okay.
Same kind of
animal.
deal. But like in a perfect world, my hot dog is cooked until it starts to blister a little bit, right? And then it's put in a split top bun, which I have put either a little bit of oil or mayonnaise or butter in, and then slightly toasted. And then on top of that, I will do pickled jalapenos, a pickle, sauerkraut, mustard, relish if I have it, but I don't usually.
You already
And
got pickle on there.
Yeah, ketchup, and then just like the spiciest hot sauce I have. Like I want to feel a little bit of pain.
Nice, right on. Yeah, do you think that going to Germany changed your opinion on hot dogs?
No,
We
not
go to
necessarily.
that
Why?
mustard museum a lot. I feel like that completely. I feel like I got like mustard pilled or whatever. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like there was a period where my go-to hot dog was like ketchup, yellow mustard, and like a little bit of mayo.
Yep.
And maybe relish if I had it. I like how do we have relish or not? We're not even sure. Like I feel like we're both pretty good about keeping a well-stocked fridge, but like relish is this elusive condiment that
Yeah,
sometimes
I couldn't
there.
tell you if I have it right now.
Same. I don't know what's going on in there. Side note: have you had the Trader Joe's relish mustard?
No.
It's like dill pickle mustard that's like yellow mustard that just has tiny bits of relish in it, and it's got like dill flavoring. It's fucking awesome. It's great.
See,
it's
I
good
hate-
if you don't know if you have relish or not. It's a great go-to.
Yeah, there's like 5 things in that store I really love, and then I just get like a fucking panic attack every time I go in there because they're just like ringing that bell, and there's just like, I think the one near me is like it's just designed in a way where everybody's just on top of each other's shit. And I used to go to the one in San Francisco, and that was fucking chaos.
Those places are kind of case by case. I just go for it. But anyway, it's funny. Like my hot dog thing went from this very like default like the hot dog emoji as a hot dog. But more recently, I feel like I've taken kind of an old school approach where I do yellow mustard, maybe that silly German mustard, or like a spicy yellow mustard, spicy mustard, whatever. And then I do sauerkraut, relish if I have it, and then I do like usually like a vinegar based hot sauce. Sometimes I'll do like horseradish if I have some kicking around. But again, it's like
Crystal's really good for it.
Yeah.
Like, Crystal's
it's
one of
gotta
those
be-
just like, you know,
Yeah.
everyday driver.
and that's
got
got
to
to go on top of the sauerkraut, so it like
Yep.
kind of seeps in.
Yep.
And the sauerkraut's got to go on top of the sticky stuff, so it stays put. That's the trick. My thing that I do with the hot dogs, though, that's a weird sentence to say out loud. My thing I do with the hot dogs, though, is I like cross cut them.
Oh, right. You got
So-
one of those like dick cutters.
Okay, so I think you described it as like a Fisher Price medieval penis torture box. Like, I got this thing that's called what's it called? A hot dog spiralizer, which is this again. That's somehow a worse fucking name. It looks like if
Harry
you
Potter and the hot dog spiral.
It looks like, you know, those like Fisher Price like little Tykes like activity sets or whatever, like that little orange car that everyone had as a kid, or like that fucking sandbox. It looks like a turtle. It looks like if they made some sort of like it looks like an Iron Maiden for hot dogs, which is kind of what it is. You take a hot dog, you put it in, it closes it, and it's got a bunch of like zigzag things inside, and you pop it out, and everything is like kind of like it's sort of cut spiral along the side, so it doesn't sort of blister out as like pop like you like to make the hot dogs pop. I don't like that description at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes them kind of like, it gives them some texture, which is nice, and it also helps them stay in the bun. It comes with, there's like a larger one that's like yellow. I don't know. I think we text each other a lot of stupid shit, but I found like a BuzzFeed article that was like the top 27 hot dog cooking accessories, and we're like, that doesn't need to be that many on that list. That's stupid. But the thing I've started doing more recently, which is, you know, it makes that Fisher Price penis torture chamber thing obsolete, is I just take a bunch of hot dogs and basically line them up and then cut zigzags across.
Right.
So like I just cut little X's. They look like little Argyle meats, and it's fucking awesome. It's like it's a very easy way. If you're making hot dogs for a bunch of people that got like drunk friends over, or you're barbecuing or whatever, it's like a very easy way to up your game a little bit and just make them look nice. They look cute. They got like little checks on them.
It gives them a little texture too.
Yeah, no, it's
that's
good. My other thing that's a little bit more weird is I do. God, what is it? Do you know the Yucateco hot sauce?
Yeah.
They make all the different varieties. There's the one that's very divisive, which is the black one. Mm-hmm. It's like the smoky black. I think you said it tastes like tires. A lot of people on the hot sauce subreddit are like, they hate it. I
I feel that way about most of those smoky hot sauces, and like every one of my favorite hot sauce companies does one like that, and every time I'm like, this will be the one that I love, and I just don't.
That one I'm fond of, and I don't know. I use it very specifically, sparingly. I will do Kewpie mayo, and I'll do that, and then I'll do some avocado in the buns, and
Avocado.
Maybe something crunchy on top, like a furikake, or like the chili crisp powder type stuff, or
those are
red,
great.
red pepper, whatever. And it's nice. It's a good variety there. It's a good kind of, you know. I know it's also like mayonnaise and avocados and like black hot sauce is like a lot of things people are like, fuck no, I don't want that on there, but it's, you know, worth a shot.
I got these. I don't know if last time you came over, if I gave you some of these, but I have these. I have this jar of these. They're like super spicy fried onions, and
Ooh,
those are fantastic on hot dogs. Like I think some people just throw like potato chips on there too.
That's a good one.
if you're looking for a little crunch, I like that. I usually get that just from the Big Pickle.
yeah, but
That's why I'm kind of torn on chili dogs, and in the same way, yeah,
I don't like them. I don't like chili dogs.
Yeah, I don't. I'm like, I think it's for people who can't decide if they want a burger, a hot dog, or soup.
That's
And they're
fair.
like, how do I have all these things at the same time? They're like, I want dinner that I can eat while standing, but I also want stew. Like,
yeah, my wife is obsessed with soup. She's crazy about it, and I think she's always like, oh, chili fries, chili dog, and I'm like, you raise a very valid point that it's soup for people who can't get soup. You know, it's a weird workaround to get a hot dog with soup on it. Which is fine, I guess. There's a really cool. I just want to shout them out. There's a really cool hot dog establishment in the Bay Area in Oakland called Tallboy, which does really good martinis and also really good weenies. They do do like, you know, upscaled hot dogs, whatever you want to call it, elevated hot dogs, as well as really good cocktails, and it's like a really kind of cool vibe. Highly recommend it. Yeah, I've also been to dedicated hot dog restaurants. I feel like there's those kind of, you know, there's like, you can see the old sign. Maybe it's got like a silly ass picture of a wiener dog wearing a chef hat on it, that kind of thing. the pampered pup or what have you. I went to one of those places I've driven by a million times, and I was like, ooh, hot dog restaurant. My wife's like, shut up, get your head back in the window of the car. I don't want you going there or whatever. And then I had some like, dumb drunken boy party afternoon, and I went there and got a hot dog, and it was so deeply underwhelming. And I think that's because for a very long time, it's like one of those like before people in America realized you could make food pretty good, there's that kind of, again, you can make a perfect burger, but also a lot of people are like, it's fine, I like it, whatever. Again, I think a lot of people who are looking for a hot dog, if they go to a restaurant that has hot dogs, they're not really like trying to do anything too crazy with it. And this place I was like, I'll get the number one, the regular, whatever thing is. And it was like, I was like, I could do better hot dogs than this. What are you doing over here?
You've probably noticed this as a dad, but
take that chef hat off that wiener dog. He doesn't deserve to wear that.
That hot dogs are on a lot of children's menus at restaurants and breweries and all that stuff. And a lot of times they're not available for adults. Like they'll just be like the kids menu in the same way that like chicken tenders aren't, right? But I feel like chicken tenders are, yes, that anyone can eat them. I mostly associate them as children's food. But hot dogs, I don't. Like hot dogs is one of those things that like, you go to a baseball game and you get them as a grown up. You get a hot dog and a beer, right? You don't get chicken tenders and a beer in your 40s. So I don't know. I mean, you could. I don't really care what you do. I am quietly judging you. But
what's a good spot is a good place for hot dogs for adults is again, bad sentence. This really just we're not doing a good job here. There's the bar in Hell's Kitchen called Rudy's.
Yes. Yeah.
Which they just have hot dogs in the back.
And they're free.
Yeah, they're just they're for people who are there drinking heavily, just eating a bunch of hot dogs.
I probably told this story on the show once, but my friend and I from Jersey once we took the train into New York City with the full intention to just get really drunk. And he was like, hey, let's bar hop between let's dive bar between bar hops, right? And whatever it is, we will get a hot dog each time. I think I told the story in the dive bar episode, but yeah, we got really drunk and we got like 7 hot dogs just walking around. And then by the end of the night, we walk into that bar that I'd never been to before then. And we sit down and they're like, welcome to Rudy's. We have free hot dogs. And we were like, oh no, it's like the main boss. And my friend immediately started throwing up outside.
That's good.
So yeah, we didn't go back there for a while.
What's the most hot dogs you ever ate in one sitting, would you say?
3.
Really?
Yeah, maybe 4.
Damn.
Yeah.
One time when I was 9, I was at a pool party, and I swear to God, I ate 9 hot dogs.
9?
Just over the course of an afternoon, and I felt fine. I think I was just having like a major growth spurt, and it was just like, jumping around. And this wasn't even when I was like like a little fat kid. This was like before that. I was like a normal, just like gangly, kid, just like and just running around screaming, doing stupid cannonballs and swimming all over the place, and I just like kept getting out of the water, just eating a hot dog and getting back in the pool. Like I should have drowned. But I don't know.
I don't blame you. Like
I haven't really put that to the test, but I feel like I could probably eat a lot of hot dogs. That's the whole thing. They got there's a reason that there's like they're a hot dog eating contest food. They're a competitive eating go-to because they're squishy. They're like malleable, I guess.
Yeah, and the whole Nathan's hot dog eating contest is insane. I watched it a couple years in a row, and then I think one day I was just like, I got to stop looking at this. Like,
yeah, I'm good not watching it. I feel like that just kind of it turns the food I like into a sporting good, and I don't like sports.
It just looks painful.
I asked our wonderful patrons on Patreon for some hot dogs tips and tricks, which is again a stupid series of words. Really, you put hot dog next to a lot of things, and it just makes that series of words immediately dumber or more suggestive, whichever. Daniel Roos coming out swinging. All beef Kirkland dog seared in a cast iron pan. Spread mayonnaise on the inside of the bun and toast it mayo side down in the same pan to absorb all that hot dog flavor. Split the dog lengthwise once or twice to allow toppings to nestle inside and stay put rather than just roll off. Mustard, pickled jalapenos, onion. That's a pro strat right there. That's
nailed
killer. It. Nick Vaughn, again, going with the Costco. Get them from Sam's Club or Costco, and never forget the Weber's horseradish prepared mustard. I don't know if I've had that.
I don't think I have either.
Let me see.
One thing we haven't touched on is, and I do recommend the split top or brioche buns. And I'm not usually a brioche guy, but they're awesome for hot dogs. And I'm actually not a fan of the potato roll buns. But I do recommend making sure you get enough of both of those things. There's like always that running joke about how hot dogs and buns are served in, like hot dogs are in packs of 8 or whatever, and buns are in packs of 6.
It's insufferable. Did
Yeah,
they ever
they-
explain why that is?
No, they're fighting.
They're stupid. I don't like it. I can't stand it. Okay, I
dog
don't think,
man and
I
the
don't think
bun
I've had
man
this,
are
this
arguing.
this horseradish mustard. It looks great. Yeah, it's got a great little. It's got like a great old timey logo. I always like that. I always respect that. George echoes your wisdom. Says never underestimate the power of good buns. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think it's an underrated. I think it's an underrated aspect of it, and I think toasting it too is at least a little bit is a big part of it. I think that like you can go totally basic with it, but like if you have a few seconds, like you can also just like wake up and eat cold pizza for
you
breakfast.
can eat hot dogs cold. They're already cooked. You won't go to the hospital, but you might go to jail because you're sick in the head.
I do wish that I could work hot dogs into breakfast more often. I mean, I guess I could just put scrambled eggs on it.
I was going to say, have you ever done a hot dog on a cinnamon bun?
No.
Okay, good, because don't. That's a stupid ass idea. That's a terrible idea. That's not a hot dog bun.
No. No, I haven't. That sounds horrendous. I wouldn't do that. Actually, like, yeah, I don't know. In general, I'm not. I used to do a thing where I would like take a hot dog. This is like in college, right? Take a hot dog, wrap it in American cheese, and put it in the microwave. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure I could do that now. I'm just not into it.
You could,
like,
but don't.
I do like the idea of spicy nacho cheese though. Like you know how like 7-Eleven always has those hot dogs that are just fucking rolling around all day.
We love those guys.
Yeah, we love those guys, right? And they just look like these sweaty pigs, and they're just like disgusting. It's so nasty. Like fucking get me off this thing. There they have that, they have the machine that shoots chili and the cheese dropper or whatever.
The liposuction bag from Fight Club in a box that you push a button and it squeezes out like a fountain drink. Terrible. No, thank you.
It's awful.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I will accept it. I'll allow it. Bagel dogs. I had a actually, yeah, that is when you have it for breakfast. So I was at a diner a couple weeks ago with my family, and they got normal stuff, and I was like, "You got any more bagel dogs?" Because they had a big sign, and they're like, "Yeah, we have a everything bagel dog, and it's got like hot sauce in it." And I was like, "Oh, bring that motherfucker to me. That sounds fucking amazing." And it's funny because it's like I love bagels with cream cheese. I love bagels and hot dogs. I don't love cream cheese on hot dogs. Like there's that Venn diagram there.
Yep. Well, hot dogs. I think we did it. We talked about hot dogs. I feel like everyone should go out and have a little hot dog. Have a treat.
I kind of have to have one now.
You know what I realized? We're getting ready to go on like a camping trip, and we're buying a bunch of shit from Costco and doing meal planning with a bunch of friends and stuff. And we're looking at the hot dogs on the Costco website, and they have like the go-to, like the same hot dogs that they sell at the at the store there or whatever. And this might just be like an online delivery thing. They're more expensive to buy them packaged than it is to buy them at Costco with a free fountain drink.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's the Costco's whole thing about the food court, especially the hot dog, is that it's a loss leader, right? It gets you in the door. It's one of those things where it's like if you go to Costco thinking at the end I'm going to get a hot dog, kind of like you do at IKEA, right?
Yeah.
Anything that happens before then is unplanned. The one thing that is a certainty is at the very end you're going to get either a slice of pizza or hot dog. You can get one of those weird, chicken bakes or whatever the fuck it is.
That is one of the rare baffling places, instances where normally buying a food prepared is going to be by default more expensive than buying it packaged. Mm-hmm. But that just blew my mind that it's like it would be cheaper to just buy 14 hot dogs plus buns plus sodas than it would be to just buy 14 hot dogs by themselves in the shrink wrap package.
Yeah.
But is that a viable business plan? You just repackage them, sell them outside in a Ziploc freezer bag?
No, and it also makes less sense for camping if you just have like 14 pre-made Costco hot dogs in a cooler.
Before we go, speaking of hot dogs in a Ziploc bag, there's a piece of literature I would like to read. I won't do a dramatic reading because that would be insufferable. But 1,000,000 years ago, The Onion had a column that was supposedly by Christopher Walken, probably not by Christopher Walken, but it was part of an ongoing series that Christopher Walken did not write called Walken in L.A. And I think the headline was just, "Do you enjoy hot dogs?" And this is, here, I'm going to read it. I'll just read the whole thing as far. Do you know this one, Brian?
No.
Oh my God, this is one of my favorite things. This was in one of those like old finest news report. Those like those big coffee table books they had in the early 2000s. Remember those, like Our Dumb Century? Do you remember those, like the Onion books?
Yes, I do.
So this was one of them, and this is one of those things I would read a bunch in summer camp. We'd all stay up all night getting the giggles. And I'm not going to do the Walken voice because, again, that would be insufferable. But I would love to hear someone do a good job doing a Walken impression to this. Do you enjoy eating hot dogs? I hope you won't be put off by my frankness when I tell you that I absolutely love them. In fact, I enjoy no food item more than a freshly boiled hot dog. Now, I've done a lot of movies, and it's true that I've worked with quite a few celebrities who did not share this opinion. I'm sorry to say that these people have always angered me. There are two types of people in this world, those who eat hot dogs whenever it is possible to do so, and those who opt to do other things with their free time. Who do the latter think they are kidding? What pastime could be more rewarding than the consumption of hot dogs? I haven't yet found one, and I don't expect to do in my lifetime. Unlike other foods, hot dogs can be eaten at any time, in any place, and it is not necessary to cook them. Now I ask you, why not eat hot dogs? They are delicious. I carry a bag of hot dogs with me wherever I go. I eat them from the bag whenever I get the urge, regardless of the circumstances. When I make a movie, my hot dogs are my co-stars. If, in the middle of a scene, I decide I want to consume a hot dog, I do so. I waste the director's time and thousands of dollars of film stock, but in the end, it is all worth it because I enjoy eating hot dogs more than I enjoy acting. This bothers some people. I was supposed to portray Batman, but when Tim Burton learned of my hot dog cravings, he asked Michael Keaton to wear the cape. To this day, I am peeved about this.
He was in Batman Returns.
I know. When we filmed The Dead Zone, I ate over 800 hot dogs a day. It was necessary. My character needed to come across as intense as possible, and I found the inspiration for that intensity in my intense love for hot dogs. The director, David Cronenberg, said that he would never work with me again. I kept eating hot dogs when the cameras were rolling, and that seemed to bother him. I say fuck him. He doesn't even like hot dogs. I would like to end by emphasizing once again that I really like to eat hot dogs. If any of you people disagree, I loathe you. I despise you. Not only that, but I also despise all your loved ones. I want to see them torn to pieces by wild dogs. If I ever meet you in person, I'll smash your brains in with a fucking bat. Then we'll see who doesn't like hot dogs. Next week, my thoughts on Woody Allen, hot dog hater and shitty director. This is one of my favorite just series of words ever assembled by a human being, and the fact that it's not Christopher Walken doesn't bother me. The fact that it could be him.
It could be him.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that he did end up in a Batman movie, and I appreciate that he's talking shit on Woody Allen, a garbage man.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's aged well, you know. Also, the Dead Zone is such a fucking great movie. Have you rewatched that one in your Stephen King kicks?
Yeah. No, I sampled it for my next album.
The ice is gonna break.
I was just thinking, you know what I would try?
What?
A banh mi hot dog. Basically, all the shit that you would put in a banh mi, right? But then you put it in a hot dog bun, toast the bun, and then you put a hot dog in there. So you got your cilantro, you got your shredded carrots, you got your hot sauce, and your pate and your jalapenos and all that.
That's a good call. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the trick with the banh mi is it has to have the worst roll you can acquire. It has to be the shittiest roll.
I hate when you get a banh mi and you know that you take one bite into it and it just like crumbles to pieces. I fucking hate that.
That's how it should be.
Oh man, I know. It should be better.
It's got to get like a little bit soggy in the middle, but then that's how it stays together. Anyway, that's a sandwich shaped thing for another day. Brian, thanks for hanging out, talk about hot dogs. I hope everyone out there listening in podcast, Radioland, whatever the fuck, has a great hot dog weekend. It's a good time to eat hot dogs.
Yeah, go get yourself a big dog, small dog, little dog, corn dog.
Make a whole like weird necklace of those little cocktail weenies. Put them on the grill. Throw it on the grill like a whip. You know, just.
Oh, last thing. I had a hot dog in Brazil that had French fries and carrots and corn on it, and it was fucking awful.
That's
and then in Norway, they just when I went there, they just put them in a tortilla. Which, sure, if you have hot dogs and you don't have buns, that's, that'll get you through it. But
what in the fresh hell is that? No, thank you. Anyway, do it the good old American way. Make them bright red like in Maine, or put cream cheese on them like in Seattle, or just fuck around and have fun. Hot dogs are a good time. Happy July of whatever it is, everybody.
Happy Hot Dog Month.
Before we go, just a reminder, This Thing Rules is made possible thanks to the support of our Patreon backers. If you'd like to help us keep the lights on and get some extra bonus stuff for yourself, you can go kick us a buck or two at patreon.com/thisthingrules. But really, every little comment, like, subscribe, share, or other form of engagement goes a long way. So if you've got a minute, give us a plug on social media, or go give us a nice review on iTunes, or just write something weird. I don't care. It's nice that you made the effort. And finally, a big, huge, extra special thank you to Patreon executive producers for this month: Ben Burkhalter, Anthony DePiro, Nick Vaughn, Paul Atienza, Kevin Lemasurier, Steve Cam, Caleb Hilliard, Billy McKendry, and Chip Chunkling. Thank you so much for your continued support. You rule.
That's how it is, though. One day your wife is making you your favorite meal, the next day you're thawing a hot dog in a gas station sink.